get our minds in the correct spaces when we think about the media. This is the text of the First Amendment, of course. It establishes, among other things, that we have freedom of speech and freedom of the press. So, keep that in mind. With that in mind, what are you entitled to from the media?
Nothing.
Yeah, two things. Jack and squat. That's what you're entitled to from the media. Keep that in mind. Everything you get from the media, you need to earn in one way or another. What is the media interested in? Eyeballs. Why are they interested in eyeballs? Because eyeballs equal money. Eyeballs equal ad revenue. And as a libertarian, if you're in a position to pay for media, pay for advertising, God bless you. Awesome. If you're not, you better be bringing eyeballs. The media is changing, it is shifting, it is always losing money these days. You can see from this graph, this is, if you can't see the mice type, this is newspaper, print, and online ad revenue going back to 2004 through 2014. So as you can see, this is our slope, this is our trend, and everybody talks about how everything is changing to online. Yes, that's true, but I will have you note that this little sliver, that's online ad revenue. They haven't figured out quite how to monetize that as effectively. But anyway, this is what they're working with. They're trying to pay their bills. So, another thing to point out that sometimes with some of these publications, and I don't mean to include just newspaper, I mean radio, TV as well. Election year ad revenues are like Black Friday to some of these media outlets. So, I mean, keep in mind, if you're a smaller campaign, you don't have the money to buy ad revenue, media advertising, that's okay, but you need to bring them eyeballs. So, how do you do that? That brings us to our 3 steps. Step 1, be interesting. This has to do with personal branding as a candidate or as a party even. This is not just for candidates. My presentation is also for like party affiliates, state parties and county affiliates, things like that. You have to brand yourself. And you can have a lot of fun with that. You have to figure out, what is your bio? Make it very grabbing. Don't make it too boilerplate. Question?
Yeah, Martin. Donald Trump is very interesting. What would you say about Donald Trump's strengths and weaknesses?
Well, that's another presentation in and of itself. His strength and weakness. As a person who's been around the media, I thought when he basically insulted all prisoners of war with that John McCain statement way back when, I was like, he was toast. That was fun. But no, and everybody has been trying to call his campaign dead in the water, but much like Mark Twain's famous humorous quote when he read about his death in the newspaper, the reports of Donald Trump's demise have been greatly exaggerated over and over and over again. So his strength is that he goes for it. He just says what he thinks, and I think people are really drawn to that. I just wonder someday if he's going to flame out and he's going to cross the line eventually. It'll be interesting to continue to watch that. So, your bio, make it grabbing. You know, have a friend look at it, see if there's ways you can spice it up. You know, bring in some personality. There you go. How do you present yourself? Do you always show up in a suit and a tie? That's recommended. But, you know, think outside the box. A very famous Republican presidential candidate who shall remain nameless, but his initials are Rand Paul. His thing is jeans and a sports coat. So he's not always, so prim and proper. You can work with that. Just be intentional. Don't be a slob. Be intentional about how you present yourself.
So what's with the Rand sticker? I just had to ask.
I'm a Rand Paul supporter.
Oh.
There you go. But I also like Austin Peterson. I also like Mary Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
It's all right.
So Sorry, Carla. Why are you running for office? Have a great elevator speech. Everybody know what an elevator speech is? That's the time it takes to ride down in an elevator. You have to be able to present your point and tell your story in that amount of time. A lot of libertarians are famous for wanting to fit the entire text of Atlas Shrugged onto a little card
Just the
or
speech.
into a conversation. But, have some great main points. What's your top issue? What is the top thing that you're focusing on? Know what that is, know it inside and out. What are your next 3 issues? Know that. And also, what does your community care about right now, and how do you address it? And this can change daily. But you should be aware what they're talking about. Anticipate questions, come up with great answers. And always remember, brevity is the soul of wit. Be succinct. We are living in a soundbite world. Know the fastest, shortest, most succinct way to get your point across. This is very important. Step 2, be interested. Get to know your media. I like to tell people, one of the first things you should do when organizing a campaign is to plan a media tour. One of the first things I had to do when I got to the Ron Paul office as the press secretary, I went down to the district in Texas, got on a plane, and I had all these appointments made all over the district, and it's pretty big. And I shook hands with every major media outlet in the district so that they would know who I was and put a face to the name. So that's what you should do. You should make a list of all the media in your area that you can possibly reach that are, influential. Newspapers, radio, TV stations. Don't forget podcasters and bloggers. And reach out to them. Call them. I mean, there's no science to this. Go to the website, look for the name of the news editor or any key political reporters, anybody like that you need to reach out to. Call them is ideal. If that doesn't work, email them and see who will get back to you just with 5 minutes to shake your hand. It is ideal if a campaign manager can do this. If you have a press person to do this, that is ideal. When you actually go on the media tour, though, I would say the candidate should come along. It is very ideal if the candidate and a campaign staffer can accompany them. That would be the ideal way to do this. Hand out cards, find out how they like to be contacted, and tell them your Twitter address, every way that the campaign will be communicating. And just shake their hands. And what you will find is that the media is populated with human beings. They are actually nice people. Most of them. Not universally, but most of them, they're actual decent human beings just trying to do a job. The media is not your enemy, it just is. So be approachable, be friendly, be easygoing, be chill, do not be angry, be nice, be engaging, be smart, be witty, all of these things, just be a good candidate. Do not be angry, combative, adversarial. This gets you nowhere, I promise you. Step 3, communicate constantly. You should be telling your story all the time. Types of communication. Of course, we have the good old-fashioned press release. A lot of people in media land are saying that this is dead, and it's changing. Really what it is